so what will we see today in this second day of the Joint Programming Platform conference? So first there will be a short introduction and a short interaction to understand who is taking part in this conference and to also spark a bit the matchmaking possibilities. Then we will go into a welcoming address from our coordinator. And then we'll have a presentation of aggregated project results. So what did all the projects together reach? And then we will go into the presentation of specific project results. And we'll have pitches from projects and also feedback from stakeholders and feedback givers that will also reflect on and say what they think is great on these projects and give a little bit of a coordinated feedback. Then we will go into a coffee break. And after the coffee break, there are the project sessions. There will be breakout sessions organized directly by the projects themselves, where you can learn more about the specific projects and their results and interact with the project partners to also learn more and bring also the cooperation forward. After that, we'll go in the lunch break, and during the lunch break, there will be matchmaking opportunities over the B2 Match platform, which is the platform where you registered, and you probably already got aware of these matchmaking possibilities, and if not, we will explain to you how to use that to the best level, but we've seen that already over 60 matchmaking meetings were organized, so we're quite happy about this. And after lunch, we will go in the working group meeting, so the thematic working group meeting, and kick off the 2021-2022 part of the working group meetings. But yes, to start with, we would like to get to know you and to get to know each other. And so we have prepared a little poll from this. And my colleague Alisa will also launch a bit the poll, but so these are the questions that will be asked to you, and you can give your answers on the chat, so you can access it here in the where there is the chat and participant window on your conference window, or you can also access it on your browser and on the smartphone via the QR code. If you have any issue accessing the Slido, you can of course ask us in the chat. So these are the three options for you to join, either on the right side of your window or on your smartphone or on your browser. So here is the first question, which will appear for you to join in normally also. Yes, perfect. We have already some answers coming. Good, we see. So welcome to all our participants from Austria, Germany, Switzerland, Turkey, Finland, Italy, Belgium, Ireland, Poland, Norway, Bulgaria, the Netherlands, Denmark, Finland, I see. It's great, we have a lot of diversity, and that's also what's great in these transnational projects, that you can see and cooperate in between all the different countries. Romania also joined. Perfect. Then I think we can go to the next question. How often have you participated in the JPP SES Status Conference so far. So this part of the JPP conference, which is dealing with the projects and project results in particular. Okay, I see there are some people who even took part 4 times or more. The majority so far is also new to the conference or has taken part only once. Perfect, thank you. And yeah, I think we can go to the next question. So which of the following groups do you belong to? So are you an associated partner, a living lab or a test bed, a digital platform provider, representing a funding agency, or are you from a project partner? Or of course, there is also, yes, other research projects, industry, policymaker. Good, so we see we have a good number of project partners, but also living labs and associated partners, representatives of our funding agencies. We'll learn more about the project results as well. Okay, thank you. So welcome to all our project partners. And thanks a lot for taking part in this poll. So we have a bit of a vision of the diversity of participants, be it geographically or in your role and your participation in the program. Thank you. So I will go back to the slides. And now I think is the time for the welcome from our coordinator. And so I think I will see if Michael Hübner and maybe Ludwig Karg and maybe Fredrik Lundström want to join us with the video and make the welcome from their side as well. Thank you very much. Are you here? Ludwig, Michael.
Hello, Julia. Can you hear me? Michael is here. Good morning. Yes, I'm here. I just connected. I think I should. I was told I should give some introduction to what we did so far in the AeroNet and what we achieved and so such things, right?
Yeah, I think that would be good. So
Michael, hi, can you hear me? I'm also here.
Fredrik, I can hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, very good. I think maybe you could start from the beginning. Do you remember how it all started back with the workshops in Salzburg and Zurich?
Oh yes, that was fun. I mean, it was also very, how should I say? I mean, we had a lot of ideas, and it was very a good chance that I was not sure if we could really make it at that point, but it was really a good spirit and a good group. You remember at that time we still had our colleagues Patrick van Hove from the Commission with us, and Rainer in the team, Rainer Bacher, and Victor Raldorf, who led the grids initiative on the European level, the EGI. So it was really a start. But I mean, we also came from a former AeroNet, from the former Smart Grids AeroNet, which was, I think, a very good basis to start from.
So this was something like, I think, 8 years ago. I think for me, I was pretty new in this whole collaboration at that point.
Where are you, Michael? Where are you? We are waiting for you.
I'm here. Hi, Ludwig. Good morning. I thought it was starting at 10.
At 10, it's 9:30. It's 9:30, Michael.
Okay.
What would you do? What would you do without us?
Yeah, it's really good to have this great support team. You are carrying us along in this kind of challenges from the first moment.
Yeah, but are you prepared? Are you at least prepared for the session at 9:30?
I thought I would prepare now with you together to put the things together, but on the other hand side, I'm always prepared somehow.
Okay. This time I would ask you, Michael, to start from the beginning. Tell people how everything started. Okay. This is important. We have some newcomers. They need to know what was the starting point of the initiative.
Yes, I mean, with Fredrik, we started already to remember a little bit on the former Ethernet. So when still some of the people that are around today were around at that point already, but also some of the colleagues that we don't have with us. You remember Jussi Mekkela, for instance, from
Jussi didn't talk. You know, he is the best Finn I met. He just didn't talk. Only when it became a bit important, then we could rely on him.
Yeah.
Where is he?
I don't remember what was the name of the colleague from Norway. He was always very critical on our ideas, but that was very constructive and helped us to sharpen them.
Yeah, we had a lot of support, of course, but everything started with these meetings. Well, was it in Zurich or was it in Salzburg? Remember that one?
Yeah, Salzburg was a very important one. I think that was the one when we invented, and at the end you draw this picture of our 3-layer research model, because there was this big discussion that in this complex innovation that we want to achieve, it's not possible. We cannot only talk about technology, so we also have to talk about acceptance of technologies and introduction into the society, and also all the problems with the market and the business models. That was
I'm very proud we invented that one, and I think also really many projects have understood the intention.
Yes, I mean it was also a point when I met you the first time, Ludwig, you were managing this big German program, the energy program on smart grids, and then I learned how you and Michael Wedler and your colleagues were managing these supporting activities and these activities, this cross-cutting topics to discuss them with the projects, and really to bring it to the point. What are the critical questions that we have to investigate to come to the next step? And I think that was very inspiring. And
we had that experience, but still, you know, I mean, we all had a hard time to convince all these funding agencies about this.
Yeah, it's always
completely
about
new
us.
approach.
It's always about us to convince us, but I think at the end, the success is convincing, and the outcomes are convincing. That's the important thing. And I'm really happy that we could make use of these experiences and these formats and transform them somehow into what we have today with the knowledge community.
Yeah, but still, I mean, many still believe that the most important part of our programming platform is funding the projects.
Yeah, of course.
Fredrik, I mean, you are sitting with Michael for breakfast, or?
Yeah, digitally you could say. I think physically we are far away from each other, but I'm having breakfast here with you.
And we have lockdown here in Austria, so even if we would be door to door, we could not have breakfast together.
Well, Michael, I mean, you were talking about our knowledge community. Do you know? And you have to tell people that we have at least 2,000 registered members on the Xpera. Meanwhile, have you ever expected that?
2,000. That's
more than 2,000. Yeah.
I think it's something like around 70 projects that we've been funding with the joint cost since.
Fredrik should know. I never can recall, Fredrik. How many projects did we fund at the end?
Yeah, I mean, the latest number I recall is what Michael was saying. I think something like 72 projects, about 100 million euros. but then we are soon to communicate another set of projects. So we have 2 ongoing calls, you could say, that are, one was the MI Call 20 on digital transformation, that those projects will soon be announced. And we have an ongoing call also in heating and cooling, where we have received pre-proposals. So next year we will be able to present those projects. So there are more in the pipeline, so to say.
How many calls have we done at the end?
Yeah, so if you count those 2, it is 7 calls, those that are ongoing. So we started 2015, and every year since we've had at least 1 call.
I take the opportunity, Frederick. I'm with you since years now, but I've never really understood this model. It's that if the member states fund with €2, they get €1 on top. Is that still true from the Commission?
That is true, and it's not true. It depends on how you see it. I must admit, I also am still struggling to understand all the parts of the model, but I think that's what it is with the international collaboration. So what we have is we have these co-funded calls. This far, we've had 2 co-funded calls. That's when the Commission give extra funding to the national funding or regional funding. So we have 2 of those calls that have been decided, and the projects are ongoing or have finalized. And then we have a 3rd co-funded call. This is the one that we will soon announce the results from. And but the others are just they are financed by the national funding. So actually the European Commission is the biggest funder, but as one funder, but in total the national and regional funding is the biggest part of the funding to the network.
Michael, that is something you have to explain then when you give your welcome speech.
Oh yeah, that's always hard to explain.
But on the other hand, I mean,
the good thing is that our project people, I mean, they don't need to care. I mean, they get their money from the national agencies. Yeah. We have to deal in the background, and I think, I mean, that it's really there is of course there is a downside for the projects of this complex world that we are in, that they sometimes have to wait a little long for the decisions, which is really not easy for them sometimes. But on the other hand side, I mean, the good thing is that we are really able to manage these complex things in the background, and that we are receiving this European money that is an enabler for the national agencies. And then there is a lot of commitment needed from the national agencies to make it happen. I mean, if we have 32 funding partners, we have 32 national rules and models how things work, and yeah, I mean, Frederick is always doing a great job to moderate the process towards the next joint call, and the call management is making a great job to implement that. Our colleagues from Nordic Energy. So that's
what will you tell people then? We have to hurry, you know, at 5 minutes from now we have to start the conference. Okay. What will you tell about our relation to the Commission? I mean, when the Commission gives money, they also expect something. How is our relation to them?
Yeah, I think we can say, Fredrik, our experience is that, I mean, it's not only money. I think it's really, they are also giving their hand, you know, before a handshake, and it's really a collaboration that we're having. I mean, since long time now with the colleagues from DG ENA, I mentioned some of them before, Patrick Van Hove and Victor Aldorf.
Yesterday we had Mark van Stippert. He was great, wasn't he?
And now, yeah, he's there still. Now we are with Mark and also new colleagues now that are working with us.
Really? So, was he there yesterday? I couldn't join yesterday. What else did I miss?
You missed the workshop about project chains. That was great. You know, our new baby, we definitely must drive that initiative. Yesterday, many of our experts complained that the entire research development in innovation domain is too fragmented. Need to do something about that, Michael, right?
Yeah, that I think is a great idea. Though not easy to really develop that into sound concepts, but what I found great, because we have this new relationship now with Helen Kray and her team, and on the side of DG RTD, and this is really, I mean, Helen was really in her keynote. She was really reaching out very, very, I mean, visionary. And I thought, okay, there are a lot of things really to do and to think about. But I think that this is, and she pointed out to me that this is really a high potential idea. I mean, that has really high potential also in the view of the Commission. That this could create something new to coordinate a little bit more also with the other programs on the European level, but also like Interreg or on the regional level and so forth. So let's keep on going with this.
Yeah, I mean, we will keep on going. Are there any news from the new? I mean, you mentioned the commission here, Len Cray, from the concept also that we're discussing with the new partnership. Was there any news on that?
Not yesterday, but I mean, it's really, I think, a big success that with this new initiative, the partnership, we are able to gather all the energy-related area nets under one umbrella and on one platform. So I think that is seen on the one hand side also from the national agencies as a good development and a step in the right direction. You can see that from the commitment that we get. We have more than 70 funding agencies now participating in this new initiative. We cover all the topics that are relevant for the set plan, starting from all the power technologies over to storage and carbon capture and use.
Really great. You must tell people. Do you remember, Frederick, when we did this first sketch back in this Dublin bar?
Yeah, I remember well. I think the first sketch was not so nice, but after, I mean, a bit later in the evening, it was quite promising. Do you still keep that one?
Yep.
Yes, I did. I mean, I can show you. Let me check. I can quickly show you.
I mean,
remember that one?
You have to confess that after some beers, many things look promising, but this one turned out to really be promising.
But it developed nicely, didn't it? I mean, we knew that it starts from the internet, and we need some links, and then we create a partnership, and then we need the band.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say also. I mean, if I see on the sketch on the beer tab that the band is still missing. Yes, this is something that we have to work on.
Well, I think we have to go then.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Why do you believe that so many will join us in the CETP? I mean, today you said it's now 78 partners that somehow joined already. Yeah. Why are you so sure that we will have this big partnership working? Can you make people a bit curious or motivate them then in the conference?
I think that, of course, one reason is that it's about time. I mean, we have to, on the one hand side, look upon the technologies and the solutions cross-cutting. We cannot work in silos anymore. So that's, I think, one important reason that also everyone is convinced that we have to come together also from the different technologies and the different approaches that we have to the energy transition, and we have to bring it in one. I think it also makes it easier for the agencies.
It's about time. You said it's about time. It's 9:30. We have to go to the conference.
Oh, okay. I think you will surely have to
see you there. I know that Julia is waiting already.
Oh, okay.
See you in the conference.
See you in the conference.
Nice breakfast. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you very much for this breakfast address. And I hope I was giving some background on how the initiative was born and developed. I will share my slides again. Sorry. Yes. And then once the slides are uploaded, I will pass over to my colleague Alisa. Yes, Ludwig, you
Yeah, there. So sorry, I'm a bit late, but now I'm here. Michael is coming soon. I met him in the train.
Okay.
He will give his introductory welcome speech now, but sorry, we got stuck in the train.
I think it's a bit too late now. It's the time of the presentation.
Starts at 9:30.
No, it has started already at 9.
What?
Yeah. But we have heard all the conversation, so I think that's fine.
What? You heard us talking?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Michael, they listened to us. Michael, you have to switch on.
Good morning, everyone, to the second day of our conference. Very nice after this very interesting first day yesterday to reconnect this morning.
Yeah, but Michael, we were wrong. Conference started at 9.
Really? What does it mean now?
That means that you cannot give your welcome speech, and we have to hand over to Alisa to not lose the track in the agenda.
I have to skip it, okay.
Yeah, we find a solution. You can talk over lunch.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, sorry for that. I was wrong. Sorry for giving you wrong information. So
did we have a misunderstanding?
Switch off. Alisa has to go on.
Okay, I'm listening.
Bye.
Well, thank you, Ludwig and Michael and Frederick and also Julia. And good morning to all of you from my side as well. So throughout the day, we will hear and learn a lot about different JPP SES projects and the approach and activities of the knowledge community. And so I want to start out with a brief introduction of how within the JPP SES initiative, information is shared, knowledge is built, and in short, how we derive aggregated projects results. So let me start with this admittedly slightly overloaded graph. So here you get a vague idea of the diversity of topics and to which extent these topics are tackled by the JPP SES funded projects from the SG Plus joint calls 2015 to 2017, the Access joint call 2018, and the joint call 2019. So these topics are organized along the integrated and interdisciplinary 3-layer research model, which was also already introduced yesterday at the policy conference. So we have the 3 layers of technology, market, and adoption. And this approach then allows us to organize the learning and to enable the right technologies, market designs, and customer adoption to achieve the smart energy system vision and goals of Europe. So here you see how the different topics are organized along the 3 layers. And for instance, just picking out one example, there are several topics related to questions of flexibility, so and which are or which have been and are addressed in a large part of the projects from the different calls and also across the different layers. So setting aside these different topics, if we take a step back, we can then see that to which extent the different projects cover the 3 layers. So it becomes clear that technology is as a high priority in all projects, and while the picture looks a bit more differentiated for the market and adoption layers. So from all this, the question arises, how do we go from there? So the central idea of the JPP SES initiative is that we want to tackle cross-cutting topics of the 3-layer approach and then achieve a maximum impact and create a cross-project and cross-border learning effect instead of working on these questions and topics separately in the individual projects. So how do we derive aggregated project results? And this is where the working group approach within the knowledge community and its activities comes in. So we have our different working groups within the knowledge community, which you can see here on the left-hand side. And these working groups collaborate and co-create knowledge, and this mainly takes place on the virtual knowledge sharing platform Xpera, and also in physical, if possible, and virtual meetings of the thematic working groups. So one main aim of the working group co-creation approach is to develop policy briefs and spotlights, which allows to derive aggregated project results and then also, or thereby also relate the knowledge to the rest of the world and make it accessible. So as we already talked in more detail about policy briefs yesterday, I want to focus and take a closer look at the spotlights today. So what are spotlights? Whom are they targeted to? And how are the spotlights created? And then at the end of this part also give you more information about this year's Spotlights edition. So in short, Spotlights provide an update on the ongoing activities and the intermediate results of the JPP SES initiative at a specific time of its implementation. So let's look at more detail. Basically, Spotlights are based on a selection of EU and international smart energy systems reference documents. And so they allow to set the projects in the context within the landscape of initiatives outside of the JPP SES. And who are the target groups? So first of all, the authors of the reference documents that are or have been selected are a rather indirect target group. So this allows them to display their contributions and also get feedback on their contributions. Then we have the contributors who can display their topic expertise and engagement. The working group members who are sharing their knowledge, sharing their research results, and get to know the shared topics. And then also the interested public, the REA ecosystem, and for the stakeholders who can then learn about the different or aggregated results. So let's look in bit more detail how spotlights are created. So here you see a slightly simplified overview of the process, how we arrive at the spotlights and how these spotlights are embedded in the knowledge community activities. So as already mentioned, we have reference documents as the starting point of this rolling process. So these reference documents are selected by the different working groups. And so here it is important that they are broad and based on several sources. So here we mainly talk about meta studies and reports, roadmaps, and directives. So they should be interesting for many of the projects, and many projects should be able to identify common topics in these reference documents. The identification of common topics and statements is then the next step. And before then, the discussion on these documents and statements starts on the collaboration platform Xpera. So and then once the the reference documents have been selected and the statements have been selected, the discussion starts. And then from time to time, we take a snapshot of the status quo of the ongoing discussion, and then develop the spotlights and also policy briefs from the snapshot. So this is more about the process, which you will also learn about more this afternoon in the knowledge community and working group meetings. But now let's come to the maybe most important part of this section here, that we are very happy to announce that the 2021 Spotlights edition is released today. So we have 5 spotlights in this edition from the System Architecture and Implementation Modeling Working Group, the Storage and Cross-Energy Carrier Synergies Working Group, the Regional Matters, Regularity and Market Development Working Group, and Consumer and Citizen Involvement Working Group. So we have major contributions to these spotlights from 22 projects. And you can already find now on our website the summary versions of the spotlights. So these are quite helpful to get a first overview and also see which topics have been tackled, which project contributed, what are the joint overall conclusions. So for example, if we again take the topic of flexibility, which I picked out in the beginning of the presentation, we see that here we have power system flexibility, so in the system and cross-carrier energies working group, but also the topic of flexibility has been tackled in regional and market development and regional matters. So from, it's different topics, different results, but this allows us to, here arrive at joint conclusions. And for those who want to dig deeper into these spotlights and into the discussions, the full versions of the spotlights are also available on Expera as living documents. So here you're invited to go on Expera and then comment on the respective spotlight versions. So you're very much invited to, as a first step, join the discussion in the working groups this afternoon, where the next co-creation cycle is then kicked off. To go to Expera anytime, they're in the workspace, comment and discuss on the spotlights, and also, of course, to share these spotlights 2021 edition from our website with your network.